Stageek recently sent me this Carpenter pencil set, and I gotta say, I am impressed. It is loaded down with almost anything you might need for marking in your shop. So let's take a look at what it's got. So on this side of the flap, there's all of the lead refills, eraser refills, tons and tons of stuff. So there's 2.8 millimeter, there's 2 millimeter, there's 1.3 millimeter, there's all sorts of lead. There's black, yellow, and red, colored lead. We're gonna talk more about that in a second. And then even in the 2, there's a bunch of other colors as well. This gets kind of fancy. It's stuff I'm probably never gonna use, but I think that's really cool. On the other side, this is the business end, right? So you've got 3 fine tip markers, a 1.3 millimeter mechanical pencil, 3 2.0 millimeter mechanical pencils, 3 2.8 millimeter mechanical pencils, automatic center punch, a scriber. There's some levels, erasers, some spare parts over here. So I want to show you what I really like about this set, and that lives in the 2.8 and the 2.0 millimeter pencil set. So I'm going to grab out the 2.8. The 2.0 is very similar. So they send you 3, and you can see they're colored. You got black, red, and yellow. When they come, they've all got that black lead in them, graphite lead. First thing I did, I changed these out so that I could have red in my red pencil, yellow in the yellow pencil, and then kept the gray, the graphite in that black pencil. Because if you're marking on different kinds of wood, it helps to have a different color of pencil. So if I am grabbing out a piece of maple, I might want to grab the red because that shows up pretty well on there, or I might grab that graphite color. It shows up a little better. So different colors there. But if I'm going with a darker wood, I might honestly want to grab the yellow because that's going to give me a nice noticeable mark here on the walnut. It's easy to see in person, might be kind of hard to see on camera, but it's definitely there. And that's going to show up better than maybe a gray or a yellow does on the walnut. So the pencil themselves, they've got this long nose. So if you're reaching down into a hole, it lets you get down into that hole just to go and mark what you're going to do. Lead like this, you're not just going to stick this in a normal pencil sharpener, but they thought of that. On the back of the pencil here, you unscrew this cap, and look, there's a pencil sharpener. So you've always got one with you as long as you've got the pencil. What if I lose this? They give you a spare one of these, which I think is super cool, and I think is really thoughtful on their part. It tells me that they put a lot of thought into what they're sending out. So I like that it's got that pencil sharpener built in. So like I said, first thing I did with these 3, I changed out to the red, yellow, and kept the graphite. I did the same thing on the 2 millimeter pencil set. So I've got red, gray, and yellow. So if I'm working in different things, I've got another pencil that I can grab. Automatic center punch. These are great for getting started if you're going to drill something out. You know, you've got your mark. You're able to set that mark. And then you've got a dimple there to set your brad point drill bit in, or your Forstner bit or whatever. You've got that mark to set that drill bit in so it doesn't wander around as you're getting started. Scribing. Some people prefer a scriber over a pencil because it's going to give you a really fine tip out on the end. You're able to scribe a mark. You know, I should grab a square or something like that, but you're able to scribe lines. And again, it's hard to see on the camera, but it's there. Scribe lines where you need. That's super sharp, so they've got this rubberized tip to keep that in. I'll probably keep that rubberized tip on there as much as I can. These markers that it comes with, these are great for permanent marking things, especially if you've got rough lumber or you know, maybe you're marking on plastic or something that you can't write on well with a pencil. But these are just going to be really good for real bright marks in the shop. Again, you've got the black, you got the yellow. The yellow doesn't show up as well on here, but the yellow is going to show up a lot better on something like this walnut. Definitely gives you tons of options when you're marking and measuring with how you can lay stuff out. So if you are in the market for a great Carpenter's pencil set, certainly check out this one from Stageek. It's got everything you need in it.